Hi folks, I'm the Bald Guy, and this is Bald Guy Basics, advice from a non-professional to people who don't claim to be professionals. I'm talking to guys who have a toolbox, a workbench, a spot in the corner of the basement, which is where I am, or the corner of a garage, a place to do it yourself on some things. But you don't have the resources that perhaps you see online. Some of the influencers that we see, they give so much great information, but when you think about the tools that they own, they have not hundreds of dollars and not even thousands, but tens of thousands of dollars worth of tools. And when you're starting out, that can be pretty hard to deal with. I want to show you a couple of tricks today that you can do for next to no money. That will really help you in your workshop. Now, the table that I'm at is actually a chest toolbox. I didn't buy it, I inherited it. And it's not fun to inherit things the way I had to, but that's a long story. We lost someone in the family. But because the top of this, even though it has a rubber mat on it, you can see the rubber mat right here. I'm always cutting, I'm always drilling a simple piece of lumber. We did some deck work last year, and I held on to a piece of 2x8. This thing is cut to 7 inches, which is its actual width. I don't know why they call it a 2x8, and it's only 7 inches. And then, so it's 7 one way, 6 the other. And when I am sanding, when I am cutting, when I am drilling, I do use this as my work surface. So if you look at this side, you can see I drilled a lot of holes lately, and I had to go through, I was drilling actually through some leather. And so when I'm doing work that is abrasive or cutting, I use this side. And then when I want to do something sanding, I keep the other side flat. It makes a great work surface. But the other thing that I really wanted to show you today, we've all got tools. My channel locks. Actually, we took a dishwasher out and found this under the sink. So the installer left these in place, but an old pair of slip joint pliers. And I actually, through inheritance, have a beautiful set of Knipex self-gripping adjustable pliers, which they're very close to a channel lock, but they operate a little differently. And you've done it. Sooner or later, your wife, your mom, or something that you're doing, you will need a better grip than you can do with your hands. And you'll grab it with a pair of pliers, and you will mar the surface. I found this out. Now, neither one of these are marred. But I've been making knife handles, and here's a stacked leather handle. Here is a wooden handle that I've made for these knives. And sometimes when I want to go back to the sanding machine, and you know, these are not, considering the size of my hands, these are not that big. Sometimes I need something to hold them with. And if I grab either one of these with a pair of pliers, it's going to leave a mark. Well, I have found a very simple way for no investment, at least from my standpoint, no investment whatsoever, to give myself a tool that is worth its weight in gold. Now, I have access to some scrap leather. This is 1/4-inch leather, and it's pretty stiff stuff. So you can say, well, leather would be great, but here's a set of pliers, and I'm using them on their narrow setting. You see, this just doesn't want to cooperate. It's popping out, and I don't want to bend it so hard. But there's another piece of leather. Now this one is more narrow. It's narrow because it's the width of the jaws of my plier. But watch this. Let me open my pliers. Works better when you don't drop it. But watch this. My finger in here. Look how that just bends right in. Now I can grip anything now. I'm going to use and I have a leather cushion here, and I've really got some pressure. See how well that bends? And when I'm done, it straightens back up. I'm going to show you what I did. So you're going to need a scrap piece of leather. If you don't have access to leather, here's a piece of a belt that I kept. I keep belts just for this kind of, and it's thinner, but it's still kind of stiff. If you'll look here, this is a core material that has a very thin laminate sewn over it. So if you can get some scrap leather, and you can pick this stuff up on eBay. If you know someone who has a leather shop, someone who makes holsters or knife sheaths, I find this through a saddle shop, and they've got so much scrap leather, it's easy to get. So I'm going to show you, oh, here it is. You're going to need a piece of leather. And again, you see how bad this is? It's not worth anything, but don't throw it away. Your trusty razor knife, and I just make a cut. I'm not going all the way through. I'm going about halfway through, or a third of the way through. Again, this is 1/4 inch stuff. One pass is all I'm doing. If I want it to bend a little more deeply, I just make 2 passes and go a little bit deeper in it, in the leather. But in the time it's taken me to just talk to you for a moment, I've made cuts all around this. Now this is the same leather, I just soaked it in some oil. Good way to change the color. So it bends because of the oil better, but now look at this one. It bends, and like I say, you can see the incision here is not that deep, but it releases one whole side. So this way, it does not bend well. This way, it does bend well. Fits into especially a pair of pliers that you're going to exert some force on. You just slide it in here, and here's a piece of antler. I can grip that now with a lot of force, and it is totally protected. So it's a neat little trick that you can use. I just dropped these into a tray inside my toolbox. So I've actually made a little bit wider one. This is a little narrow one. This is the one we just made. And a piece of absolutely worthless leather becomes worth far more than the leather itself would cost for you to procure it. So here's some neat little tricks that you can use in your shop that will make you more effective, it'll make you safer, and it'll make you produce better quality stuff. Hope this helps. I'm the Bald Guy, and these are Bald Guy Basics.